Hi, is this Tony?
It is. How you doing?
I'm doing very well, thank you. Thank you for agreeing to talk to us today.
No problem.
Good. I'm just recording this as well, so I can make sure I can get all the details right for later.
That's okay. You get your levels and stuff.
Yeah, brilliant. So, the Headless Cross performance. We're about 3 weeks away now. It's your first ever solo gig in the UK. How are you feeling?
Bit nervous and excited all at the same time. It's a unique event, really. I've always been with somebody else. I've always been either Sabbath or the Whitesnake guys, Bernie Marsden, Mickey Moody, some band doing their stuff. So this is the first time I've had a chance to put all the songs that I've been responsible for into like one show. Not just my home country, but my hometown as well. So it feels kind of strange, but at the same time, it's quite exciting.
Now, it was billed as the first solo performance in the UK. Have you performed by yourself outside of the country?
Yeah, I did some. I had a band called the Tony Martin Band about 5 years ago, and we did some stuff around Europe and South America. But it got really stupid. I had to stop touring in the end because they expect you to work for free for a start, and then they were just flying me out and not the band. They were using local musicians, and they were, very often quite competent musicians, but it's still not your band, and you don't know what they're going to do on stage, and you don't know. They don't play exactly the same way that you would want them to, and you don't know if you're going to get a face full of machine heads from somebody. And also the fans know it's not your band. So it kind of got a bit tedious, and it wasn't working, so I kind of stopped trying. And an interesting what I've been... So I got Newton's Headless Cross, and decided to try again. The response is a lot more positive with this lineup, so who knows, maybe we can make something of it. But this is the only gig we can do this year because all the other guys have other commitments for this year, so it really is a one-off event, so it is quite an event.
Yeah, because when you look at the other performers, I mean, everyone's playing with different bands, whether it's Venom, Jeff Nichols is busy as well. How difficult was it to bring this group of musicians together for this performance?
Well, we kind of got dropped in on it. Originally, I had a festival date over on the East Coast in a place called Felixstowe, and the promoter took on far too much than he could handle, and he dropped the ball and cancelled the whole thing. But by then, I'd already started making arrangements for these guys to be involved in it. So I said, well, that's great, we need to find another venue then. So I decided to get as central as I could, which, Birmingham was about as central as I could get it. And the venue is run by a friend of ours, Roy, who is actually the bass player with a band called Shy. And he runs the venue, and it's a pretty cool venue. I mean, I've been there a few times and always enjoyed it and had a good time there. And he said, come on mate, let's see if we can sort something out. So we sort of sat down and worked a few things out, and he was up for it. So the change of venue and the change of gig, change of band name, change of everything happened all at the same time. And we ended up in Birmingham on 27th of July.
Wow. Now, I know the gig has been described as featuring songs from across your career, but the title, Tony Martin's Headless Cross, when you consider that Headless Cross was the second album you did with Black Sabbath, it kind of gives the impression that it's going to feature largely around that album. Would that be a wrong impression, or...?
No, I mean, there's about 70% of the show will be Black Sabbath orientated. I mean, there was 6 albums in total. I mean, 5 written albums. I did 5 major world tours with them, so that has to feature heavily. But in between the Black Sabbath stuff, of course, I had solo albums, and they'll be featured, and other projects. I've always been a varied musician, but the Sabbath thing kind of focused it. Before Black Sabbath, I used to do everything. I mean, I did reggae. I worked with Musical Youth, Dexys Midnight Runners, all sorts of people. pop music, all sorts of stuff. And when I joined Sabbath, it kind of focused me into a box, and then I couldn't get out of the box. So when the box closed finally, then now I'm starting to expand my career as a musician again. But Sabbath really focused it. So yeah, there will be a big percentage of the show will be around about that stuff. I won't tell you which songs it's going to be, but 17 songs that span 10 different albums, and I've been on 30 in my whole career.
Brilliant. So, do you think some of those songs may come as a surprise for people?
Yep. I am just dying to see the faces of people there. They're either going to go, "What the fuck's that?" or they're going to, "Oh my God, where did that come from?"
Yeah.
I'm not sure what the response is going to be, but I can guarantee they're all really, really up there on it songs. They're just great, great songs.
So I was listening earlier to Scream, so I'm hoping that there was going to be a couple of tracks from Scream on there.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, as well.
But I had 2 solo albums. Unfortunately, I'm got to be one of the most unlucky musicians in the business. I mean, almost every album that I've ever been on has been deleted.
Right.
They're not on sale. Only this current one that was released, the third Cage, that's on release at the moment, and I've got a new thing coming out which is released in September. Apart from that, everything else has been deleted, so there is only one chance, one way of seeing these songs performed, and I'd say a third of them have never been played before, so it is quite something to have all this in one place, in one show.
Now, when you're used to performing as part of a band, like you're saying, this is you venturing out there on your own without Sabbath or without Cage, is it a different dynamic? Does it put more pressure on you, do you feel, as a performer, when it's under your name?
Not quite sure how you mean. It's not so much a pressure on me because I'm solo. Obviously, if I've gone out solo, that's the reason I'm doing it. So that the intention to be solo is there. The pressure kind of comes in that you don't have the other famous names around you, so it's up to you to pull in the people and entertain them as yourself. That's a different kind of thing, but it is sobering, I have to say, when you're out on your own. It's and I am very heavily involved in the whole thing. I do all the logistics and the setting up of the tours myself, and I'm really quite good at that. But I do get very involved in it, so I'm always busy.
At the moment, would you say that there's any plans for more solo albums in the pipeline?
Well, there is, but there's always a but. Well, okay, here's how it goes. I mean, the Black Sabbath thing never made me a millionaire, and it never will. Especially since the albums have been deleted. But you still have to pay the bills, and so what happens is if your career is music, then whatever comes in that pays the bills is what you tend to be drawn towards. So that means that you tend to put on one side the solo albums and the rest of the stuff, which you would like to do, but obviously going to cost money, or it's hard to get funded if you're like doing it yourself. So I keep stepping on things that need to be done instead of doing things that I want to do, and usually that's solo material. I have got some in the pipeline, but they just have to wait.
Right. Now, there has been a few different projects that you've been doing of late, obviously ones like, for example, Star One back in 2010. You've been doing a lot of work with Dario Molo as well. When you're involved with those different projects, does that tend to be thinking, right, well, I'm going to do this project now, or and you've got one project on the go, or do you find that because you're doing these different projects that you've got many different things on the boil at the same time?
Well, they always find me. I don't know they exist until very often they come to me on either Facebook, internet, email, or some method of communication. And until they find me, I quite happily amble along doing whatever it is I'm doing at the time. Some of them become more urgent and they say, well, we kind of need to get this done, can we do that? And others say, nah, take your time, we can sort of do it whenever. The Cage was one of those where it was, well, whenever we've got time, because we've both got things going on, so let's just do it as we sort of get round to it. And so that enabled me to really concentrate on what I was singing and the lyrics and the melodies that went with the riffs that they sent me, that Dario sent me. So that was good in that I wasn't rushed. And then there are some that really, really want to get on it, and it becomes like a session. Now the Star One thing was a kind of battle of wills in some way, because Arian desperately wanted me to go to Holland to record the vocals, and I was already tied up doing things. So I said, no, dude, I can't do it, so I'll have to do it from England and then send you the vocal tracks. So, but that was 15 years ago. And then we kind of forgot about each other, and he said, okay, look, we really have to do something. So I said, okay, but I still can't come over there. So in the end, he let me do it in England. And you should see the message I got back from him. I can't repeat all of it because it's just full of swear words. He's like, that's amazing! I'm so pleased I let you do it. So we eventually got it together, but that was like a battle of wills. Some are, 5-minute things that you can generally pull out and get sorted for them. I enjoy working with different people, and it does widen your experience, of course, and makes you a better musician, I think. So, I like all of it that's involved.
Good. Now, of course, for this show, Blaze Bayley is going to be opening for you. Have you worked together with Blaze before, or?
Well, how did I know you was going to ask that question? Okay, you know what? I have, but I can't remember. And I did apologise to him at the time. I said, dude, I am so sorry. I said, I've just, my brain, it's like a hard drive. The hard drive's got full, and I have to empty part of that hard drive to allow other information to get loaded into it. He said, don't worry about it. He said it was a long time ago. But he was with Wolfsbane, and he supported a band that I was with. And also, we appeared in a very, very non-classy way in a birthday party of a local radio DJ in Birmingham, and we got up on stage together. I think we sang All Right Now or something quite free together, and somebody actually just posted a photo of that on my Facebook site, and I'd forgotten about that as well. So we have worked together. Everybody I speak to loves Blaze, and nobody's had a bad word to say about him, and obviously he's never struck me as somebody to be not liked, because we've obviously done it before. But I'm thoroughly looking forward to hooking up with it, and this time not losing contact.
Or forgetting.
I feel quite bad about it in some ways, because we're obviously from the same town, and Birmingham is quite, and the surrounding area is quite a close-knit community with musicians. But I am looking forward to it, and he's going to do something special for us on this one. He's going to do like an unplugged acoustic type of thing, which I'm really looking forward to. I might even get up with him and do something on that, but we're going to try and keep it as friendly as we can and just, have a bit of a party.
Yeah. Now, Jeff is performing with you on the night. I was just wondering though, are you still in contact with any of your other ex-bandmates from Sabbath, and is there likely to be any collaboration with them down the line?
The phone stopped ringing 15 years ago, and they haven't spoken to me since. You have to read between the lines with Black Sabbath, and they suddenly go cold, and then you're waiting for the next phone call, and then nobody does, and you hear it from somebody else. That's generally the way it sort of happens. They haven't spoken to me for 15 years. There was some rumour that they was going to try and re-release the albums that I was on. They released Eternal Idiot, as I call it, because that was written by somebody else.
Yeah.
That wasn't my collaboration, really. I just kind of stood in for the singer that weren't there at the time, which is Ray Gillen. But the other albums, I've heard nothing from them. I spoke to Iommi once, very, 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 very briefly, in Russia. We were both on the same festival at the time, and I had my band then, the Tony Martin Band, and we did Headless Cross up in Moscow in front of about 20,000 people or something like that. And Iommi was stood on the side of the stage, and he just shouted across, fucking great one, Tone, well done, mate, or something like that. Thank you. And that was about all that was said. And then after that, no, nothing else. I haven't heard from them, seen them, or anything. So.
Well, according to the latest reports in the news, they don't seem to be talking to each other that much at the moment either. With everything with...
You know what? I was saying about this because the period that I spent with Black Sabbath spanned 10 years. And in the whole of the 10 years, I never heard them speak badly of Bill Ward. Not once. They love him, and they always spoke highly of him and the fun that they had and the tricks they used to get up to and all the daft stuff. Not once did they ever speak badly of him, so I don't quite get it, because if they love him as much as they said they did, I don't understand why they wouldn't go the extra effort to get him settled in. You know, I know it's been a while since he's played the stuff, but, you know, that's what rehearsals are for. So I'm like, dude, you know, if he's one of the brothers and he's one of the original, well, he is the original drummer. So, and if you like him, then what's the problem? Unless it's very sceptical of me, but it may just be that it's a publicity stunt in that they might be thinking, okay, let's leave Bill out of this for now, and then later, when we want to do another reunion, then we'll drag him out, and then we'll, like, get more money and more people will come to the show because it's the reunion with all the original members. So, that's very cynical of me, but it seems like a bit of a publicity stunt to me, and otherwise I don't get it. I don't see why they wouldn't have him in there.
I was going to say, you know, who really inspired you to become a singer back when you started your career?
Well, actually, I was a guitarist. I did my first show when I was 7 years old as a guitar player, and I was a guitar player up till I was 3 years old, something like that. And then I went to an audition with my guitar, and the guys went, nah, we just want a singer. And I went, well, I can play along as well, can't I? And they went, nah, we just want a singer. So I said, yeah, fair enough. So I left my guitar in its case, and I sang, and they loved it. And after that, I wasn't able to get a job as a guitar player. It was just everybody wanted me to sing. I'm not sure if that's because of my great voice or my crap guitar playing. Either way, I am a guitar player. I don't really class myself as a guitarist, because although I can play, you know, I'm not like Eddie Van Halen or anybody like that, but I can play. I play lots of different instruments.
I suppose as well that's a big help to you when you are writing new material.
Oh God, yeah, it's fantastic, because you have an idea of what each instrument should do. I mean, I play everything from violin to bagpipes to harmonica, bass, drums, keyboards, guitar, all sorts of stuff. I just love messing about with instruments and making them play. The other thing it enables you to do is when you're on stage and the player of one of those instruments has a problem, you know what it is he's got to do to get it fixed, because you know the instrument basically. So it gives you an insight in what you've got to do on stage to cover for the fact that he's got to fix his equipment. So it's all about gathering intelligence. It gives you intelligence, and I love that. I love musical instruments. I'm forever messing about with them.
So looking back over your career so far, is there any memories or experiences that really stand out to you? And on the other hand, have there ever been any real big challenges you've had to face?
Well, I have to say the Sabbath thing was the most challenging. I mean, if you think about it, Sabbath at that time were about as low as they could get. They were finding it difficult for anybody to work with them. Nobody was taking them serious because they kept changing singers and various members of the band and stuff. And then they hired me, a complete rookie. I'd never been in a satanic rock band before. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I was just like, I just got the job and I was thrust into it, which was, in one way, it was exciting, but the other way, it was quite scary. And that kind of lasted and sort of stayed with me for quite a while. Of course, looking back on it now, I would have done it a different way probably, but at the time, it was just a very inexperienced musician being put in front of one of the most famous names on the planet. So that was the challenge. The most enjoyable ones were, I don't know, obviously having your first solo album out, but also working with different artists. When I was younger, I really had a laugh working with Musical Youth doing the reggae thing. And the way it worked was their dad, Freddie Waite, he used to write the songs in the daytime with a band, and I was the guitarist in the band. And then the kids would go to school, and when they came home from school, it was my job then to teach the guitarist in Musical Youth what their dad had written during the day. So that was a laugh. I enjoyed that thoroughly. Again, working with different people, there's lots and lots of little moments, and they're all mixed in with lots and lots of little challenges. So there's not one whole period which is great, or one whole period which is shit. It's just like it's all mixed in.
Right. Now, a few weeks back, I was a gig at the Roadhouse in Birmingham. It was 10, Serpentine and White Widow.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, everyone at the gig was saying, Tony Martin's here. Tony Martin's here. Now, two questions there. First of all, did you enjoy the show? And second of all, what's it like going to a concert and having everybody suddenly turn around and go, hey, that's Tony Martin? Can you actually be yourself and just enjoy yourself?
Yeah. It's not a problem for me. I'll talk to anybody, me. In fact, you'll find it hard to shut me up. I'm the kind of guy that will... I don't have a problem, and it's a pleasure to meet people. If people know you, it's the least you can do to sort of say, hey, how you doing? Yeah, of course, shake their hand or whatever. If they want something signed, then, I'll sign for it. Very often they don't. They'll point, and you'll see them whisper, and you'll know that they're saying that I'm there. But very often they'll leave you alone, and they won't hassle you too much. One or two will pluck up courage and come and shake your hand and say, it's great to meet you, this is the best thing and whatever. Which I don't mind all of that. It's not a problem. The show, I know some of the guys up on the stage, and the reason I was there was the one of the girls that was doing the promotion for the bands is actually doing promotion for me, which is the girls you spoke to, I think, to get this interview.
Sue.
Sue and Helen, they invited me up there. So that's the reason I was there. But yes, I did enjoy the show. I had to cut short on 10 to get back to another occasion. But I saw about 2/3 of 10, and I saw the other guys. So yeah, I saw most of it, and quite enjoyed it. Beer was a bit shit, but I enjoyed the show.
Brilliant. Now, will there be any merchandise available on the night, do you think?
I'm still working on that. Yes, I'm hoping so. What we're up against at the minute is just finding out who can do it in time. And it's as daft to have left it until such late, but we weren't sure what the artwork was going to be. And so we've kind of ended up right up against the boards. So, yes, there'll be something there. What I wanted to do was have artwork and merchandise that covered all of the albums that we were going to cover. So there was something relating to the songs that people were going to hear. It turns out that that's just a bit too complex for such a small gig. So what we're having to do is settle on the best or the most popular ideas for the merchandise. So yeah, there'll be special items there as well, which will be very, very, very original. There'll be something up there.
Brilliant. And would there be an opportunity to get some signatures on the night, do you think?
Good question. I forgot about that. We're doing a meet and greet after the show in a different part of the venue. It does mean, though, that the venue has to put on more staff to accommodate that. So there's like a small fee to pay to get into the after show and the signing session because of the extra staffing they have to put on. But yes, people can take anything they want, especially tits bumps, legs.
And that's just from the merchandise table.
They can take almost anything they want and get it signed. We're very amicable people. There's no assholes in this band. And what we're going to do is set up a completely different room with, like, you know, stuff. They can have their photos taken with us and stuff. That's the other thing we're asking people to honour is we're putting some photo restrictions on this because we're going to try and video it. But apart from that, just come along and, you know, have a party with us and join in, and we'll be all ambling around somewhere, so you'll catch up with us at some point. But if it's like stuff you want signed and photos you want taken with the band, then you have to oik up to the signing session after the gig.
Brilliant. Now, is there anything finally that you'd like to say to the fans out there that are listening to this?
No, it's just a great opportunity to be able to, you know, get the Tony Martin thing across. Very often I've been cut out of the history of the whole thing, and I don't get covered in a lot of the books and magazines and stuff. So it's good for us. I think it's going to be great for the fans because now in these next years, this year and next year, there's lots of Tony Martin related stuff going on. So whatever your musical preference, you'll be able to find something that I'm doing that should be right up your street. So just keep a lookout for what we're doing. I'm always all over Facebook, chattering away and nattering to people and stuff. So you can usually find me up there or find, you know, news of what I'm doing up there. Just keep in touch and don't forget we're out there. We love meeting you guys and doing this stuff. So it's not a problem for us. So yeah, we're looking forward to meeting everybody and see you along the way somewhere.
Yeah, well, I'll be there on the night, so I'm looking forward to seeing the performance live.
Cool.
So we'll have to have a beer together.
Yes, absolutely. We'll be there mostly all day and all night. I mean, we're actually rehearsing in the venue as well, so we're going to be around there for quite a lot. Over those few days. Also, because the guys are coming from other countries, I mean, Dario's coming from Italy, Magnus is coming from Sweden, Danny's coming from Newcastle, which might as well be a different country.
Well, they speak a different language.
No, bloody do, mate. It's just impossible. But yes, they're all sort of travelling from, so I'm putting them up in a hotel in town. I'm going to be a tour guide, showing them around and, you know, showing them the history of the local area and stuff like that. So they'll be with me for a few days over that whole weekend and during that week. So we'll be kicking around somewhere.
So brilliant. Well, thank you for doing this interview with us today.
No, thank you.
And all the best for the preparations. And I look forward to seeing you on the night.
Yeah, great, mate. All right, I'll speak to you soon.
Thank you very much.
Cheers, buddy.